Hari Om, everybody. It's 10 o'clock. We'll get started. Oh, त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सेदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामविद्यवत् ॐ गणेशाय नमः ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये वागीशाद्या सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युः तं नमामि गजाननम् वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ब्रह्मानन्दम् परमसुखदम् केवलम् ज्ञानमूर्तिम् द्वन्द्वातीतम् गगनसदृशम् तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलम् सर्वधी साक्षिभूतम् भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्य केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं यस्य सन्निधिं मात्रेण सर्वे शिष्याश्च सेवकाः कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् Hari Om, everybody. Welcome back to our weekly Vedanta classes on Viveka Choodamani. First, let us chant our Mangala Charana Shloka. सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं Sadguru Pranatosmyaham. And the 7 questions. Ko nama bandha kathamesh agatah katam pratisthasya katam vimokshah ko savanatma paramah ka atma tayor vivekah katametaduchyatam. Let us spend a few minutes on our key takeaways so far. We saw how rare the human birth is. We have learned that moksha is possible only in human birth through gnanam, atma aikya bodha gnanam. And in order to study this Vedanta Shastra, a sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari, a fit student, has approached the Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru, and in that Guru Shishya Samvada, the disciple has asked 7 important questions. Ko nama bandha, what is this bondage? Katam esha agataha, how has it come to me? Katam pratistasya, how does it continue to exist? Katam vimokshaha, how does one get out of it completely? Ko savanatma, what is this anatma? Paramaha ka atma, what is this atma? What is this self? Tayor vivekaha, what is this atma anatma viveka? What is this process of differentiation between what is self and what is not self? Please explain this in detail to me. That is what the student has asked. So every class, I keep repeating this because the answers to these questions cover the entire aspect of Vedanta Shastra. That's why this Viveka Choodamani is a very classic Vedanta text. And as a part of the answers, first we started to explore what is anatma. So we covered Sharira Traya Viveka. In a few classes, we did that. What is Thula Sharira, gross body? What is Sukshma Sharira, subtle body? What is Karana Sharira, causal body? We saw some good references from Viveka Choodamani. We also use this Atma Anatma Viveka. We used a little bit of Drushya Viveka to arrive at Atma, that which is beyond the gross, beyond the subtle and the causal body. Then we covered Avastatraya Viveka, Jagradavastha or waking state, Swapnavastha or dream state, Sushupti Avastha or deep sleep state. Again, to recap, why are we studying this aspect of Anatma? Because of Sat Swarupa Agnanam. I do not know my true nature. Advitiya Atma Agnanam. I am ignorant of my true nature. And this ignorance can only be destroyed by self-knowledge, Atmagnana. I experience the three states of my existence through the three bodies or my equipment. On further and deeper inquiry, I realize the three states of my existence, they come and they go. Agama, apayi. They are not permanent. They are anitya. So I apply nitya, anitya viveka and realize that I am avastatraya sakshi. I exist as pure awareness. I exist as the witness principle in and through all of these states. I stand unnegated by them. We went through a lot of interactive session on this. This Vedanta calls this the Turiya, the fourth, Chaturtham Manyante. Then we explored the concept of universe and Maya, and in verse number 108, Avyaktanamni Paramesha Shaktihi Anadya Vidya Trigunatmika Para Karyanumeya Sudhiyaiva Maya Karyanumeya Sudhiyaiva Maya Yaya Jagat Sarvamidam Prasuyate. Avyaktanamni Paramesha Shakti. She is that unmanifest power of the Lord. We saw a beautiful reference of the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, this illusion of mine, made up of the gunas, is very difficult to cross over unless you take refuge in me. This Maya, Anadi, Avidya Trigunatmika Para. This wonderful power is Anadi, beginningless. We don't know when it all started. Trigunatmika. She is made up of the three gunas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamoguna. So we'll spend some time today to understand the topic of three gunas. Gunatraya Viveka. In that verse, we saw another beautiful phrase. Karyanumeya Sudhiyaiva Maya. Karya Anumeya. Through the effect, I draw the inference. Anumana Pramana. By who? Sudhiyaiva. The one with a clear intellect. The one who infers the cause by seeing the effect. Yaya Jagat Sarvamidam Prasuyate. So we saw last week that prasava means giving birth. Yaya Jagat Sarvamidam Prasuyate. She brings forth and delivers this whole world to us. We see this world that appears to be. Then we saw the classic definition of Maya. सन्नाप्यसन्नाप्युभयात्मिकानो भिन्नाप्यभिन्नाप्युभयात्मिकानो सांगाप्यनङ्गाह्युभयात्मिकानो महा अद्भुत अनिर्वचनीय रूप. She is neither existent nor non-existent. Sannapi, asannapi, ubhayatmika no. भिन्नाप्यभिन्नाप्युभयात्मिका नो. भिन्नापि abhinnapi, ubhayatmika no. She is neither same nor different nor both. Sangapyananga hyubhayatmika no. She is not composed of parts, not a part in assembly. She is not whole. She is not both. Then who is she? Maha Adbhuta Anirvachaniya Rupa. She is this mysterious wonder. She is Aghatita Ghatana Samarthyam. She makes this impossible possible, seem possible. Anirvachaniya Rupa. Sat Asadhyam Anirvachaniyam. It is an inexplicable phenomena. Then the obvious question is, if I cannot understand Maya and company, and its effects, how can I overcome? Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji in the next verse says, Shuddha Advaya Brahma Vibodhanashya. By realizing this Shuddha Advaya Brahman, that pure Brahman, when we realize, Maya disappears. How? Sarpa Brahmo Rajju Vivekato Yatha. Just like how the delusion of seeing that snake on the rope goes away, the traveler in the twilight mistakenly steps on that rope and thinks it is a snake in the twilight. And by the way, thanks for all your positive comments on the graphics. I appreciate that. To superimpose that snake on that rope was not easy. And the post and the ghost. So, just like that delusion is gone, just like that fear of that snake is gone, the moment we realize it is just a rope, like that, moment you realize Brahman, that Maya disappears. So, in the last few weeks, you've heard Maya is Trigunatmika, Gunamayi, all these terms. So, what is that? Let us understand that today. As I had mentioned before, these three types of thought textures driven by our gunas, the tamasic, rajasic, and Sattvic. Sattva, Raja, Tamo Guna. And Tamas is this quality of the mind when we are in inactivity. Often in Vedanta, we use the comparison of a motionless fan, a fan that is not in motion, an idler. Typical tamasic quality is the person is lazy, sleep, alasya. I have shared these examples before many times. Like that buffalo in the water. What does it love to do? It lazes around in that lake, bathing on that sunshine. I explained this while explaining the significance of Navaratri, where Durga Mata, we pray to remove those tamasic qualities, the negative tendencies within us, mala, impurities of the mind. That's why she is known as Mahishasura Mardini. Then we pray to Goddess Lakshmi to give us Shama Adi Shatka Sampatti, and 3 nights later to Goddess Saraswati, Saraswati Mata, to give us this self-knowledge. Once our mind and intellect is purified, and Vijayadashami, the victory of the self, follows. And the Rajoguna is often compared to the fan in motion. For example, a passionate youth bristling with activity. And what about sattva? It may superficially seem inactivity, but in reality, it is of the quality of maximum activity. For example, it is considered, an example is given where fan in motion at a very high speed when it is rotating, that tremendous speed is not perceptible by the naked eye. It seems as though it is stationary. Gurudev had coined the term unactivity. And sattva guna is the subtlest of the three gunas. And that sattva guna is best suited for contemplation on the higher. Keep these thoughts in mind as we go along. So when the mind is filled with qualities like equanimity, serenity, creative poise, all these are qualities of sattva, and we will study that a little more. So, how are these gunas veiling my true nature? Let me take the example of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, 3-38. धूमेनाव्रियते वह्नि यथादर्शो मलेन च यथोल्बेनावृतो गर्भः तथा तेनेदमावृतम्. So these sattvic desires, how do they cover the self? Like a smoke. Dhumena briyate varni, like the smoke covering the fire. Even a passing breeze, when it hits, it clears that away. And the Rajasic person, how is his behavior? He is always agitated. It veils the self like a dust on the mirror. On the mirror, once a dust is sitting, what do we need to do? You take a little bit of Windex, spray it, and we need to put some elbow grease and clear it off. Like that, we need to do some karma, nishkama karma, to clear that type of rajasic tendency, scrubbing the mind so that there are no unwanted desires. And the tamasic tendency is when somebody is filled with inertia, carelessness. There is no constancy of purpose in their life. I want to be there, I want to be here, I don't know what I'm doing. Going wandering around in search of everywhere, lost. The tamasic desire is like the fetus in the womb. It cannot be easily removed without effort, and the fetus has to evolve over a period of time to a full grown baby and to emerge out of the womb. So there is a gestation involved when there is predominantly tamas. So, what are we trying to get at? Just like, the television we watch has this cathode ray tube, it projects the images. Like that, the sattva, raja, tama, similar to the CRT tube of the television, we have this SRT tube, sattva, raja, tamo, guna tube, that projects the world. To explain that statement, we need to go to chapter 4 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. See, just like how the plant kingdom or animal kingdom, we break them out into different classifications. Those who are students of biology, botany, and so on. Human beings are also classified according to Bhagavan Sri Krishna into 4 types. In the 4th chapter, 13th verse, he says, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srushtam Gunakarma Vibhagashah Tasya Kartaramapi Mam Vidya Kartaramapyayam. In this verse, he clearly says, fourfold classification I created according to their guna and karma. Guna is temperament and karma is based on action. Chaturvarnyam, based on guna karma vibhagashah, not janma karma vibhagashah. And all of us, that's why we say, all of us are born as Shudras. Janmana jayate Shudraha. And Brahmana is called Dvija. If you remember, Duryodhana calls Dronacharya Dvijottama. Twice born. Why? According to this classification, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Chaturvaranyam. Brahmana is the thinking class. Thinker, thinking on Brahman, who is predominantly sattvic, sattva, with a little bit of rajas and a little bit of tamas, SRT. And Kshatriya, the leader class, mostly rajasic little bit less of sattva and less of tamas. Is active, RST. And Vaishya, the business class, less of sattva, less of rajas, less of tamas, and TRS, and Shudra, the labor class, has major share of tamas. They don't want to be in the leadership. They always say, tell me what to do, I will do it. Little bit of rajas, minimum of sattva. Kind of broad for our understanding. Since this is a very controversial topic of the caste system, our Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomayananda, used to give a very beautiful example, gives us very beautiful to illustrate how it is all important. You know, he says society is like a cup of coffee with four predominant ingredients: water, coffee powder, milk, and sugar. Sugar has become optional, but just for the illustration of this example, each ingredient has a special quality. We cannot say one ingredient is superior to the other. Like that, see, when we mix anything that changes the proportion, we don't get a good cup of coffee. Like that, each of this classification is equally important, just like that good cup of coffee. Each section of the society is equally important. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks about this Gunatraya in Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And in that he gives a few tips to achieve that perfect mind. So the first step is to know your mind. What type of dominant attributes I have. Then tune our mind. Only that mind we can transcend. When we say negate the mind, that's what it means. So the term guna used in that 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita indicates not the properties of a material, but the attitude with which our mind functions. Our Puja Gurudev used to call this psychological climatic conditions of the mind. Like they say, the tricolored mind that influences the psychological behavior within us. Keep that as when you understand the three gunas, which is sattva, inactivity, rajoguna for activity based type of attribute, tamasic, inactivity. I think I should show this little pictorial view. This is the diagram for Maya. Sattva, Trigunatmika, Sattva, Rajas, Tamoguna. And as we progress to more Sattva, which is more contemplative part of the mind, which is well suited for our spiritual studies. So here is a diagram for the three gunas. So if you look at The most preferred quality for a Vedantic seeker is predominantly Sattva Guna, where there is balance, harmony, positivity, peace, clarity. Sattva Guna dominance is like values like love, understanding, forgiveness. There is discipline in life, good awareness of the situation. And Rajas, you might see a little out of balance there, hair rising, always agitated, activity based, ambitious, restless, takes decision in haste, greed, stressed out. All these are qualities of a Rajasic person. Tamas, not tamas, tamas. Inertia, you put the Simpson character there. Inactivity, lazy, careless, forgetfulness, delusion, negativity, dull, all that is qualities of a tamasic person. There is a beautiful reference shloka, those who are taking notes, reference shloka from Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter. Sattva sanjayate gnanam rajaso lobha cha pramadamohau tamasaha bhavato agnanameva cha. 14-17 is a very good reference. So we have covered a broad overview of what three gunas or gunatraya viveka. Now, with that much introduction, let us see what Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji calls in Viveka Choodamani. Going to verse number 111. Vikshepa Shakti Rajasa Kriyatmika. Vikshepa Shakti Rajasa Kriyatmika. Yatah Pravritti Prasruta Purani. Vikshepa Shakti Rajasa Kriyatmika. Yatah Pravritti Prasruta Purani. Ragadayosya prabhavanti nityam. Dukkadayo ye manaso vikaraha. Vikshepa Shakti Rajasa Kriyatmika. Rajas has this projecting power. You know, Maya has two powers. Vikshepa, Avarana. This Rajas has this projecting power, Vikshepa Shakti, which is of the nature of activity. Now you know. What does this do to us? Yatah pravritti prasruta purani. This is a direct extract from Bhagavad Gita. Direct quote. This power pushes us outward. Because of this Vikshepa Shakti, the power of projection, what happens comes Ragadayosya prabhavanti nityam. dukkadayo ye manaso vikaraha. Then comes various modifications of the mind: attachment, aversion, fear, pride, sorrow. All these are byproducts of that manovikara. That much summary is enough. Now then we'll go into number 112th verse, continuing on that rajasic tendency. What happens? Kamah krodho lobhadambadhyasuya. Kamah krodho lobhadambadhyasuya. अहङ्कारार्येष्यामत्स्यराद्यास्तु घोराः धर्मायेते राजसाः पुंप्रवृत्ते यस्माद्देशात्तद्रजो बन्धहेतुः. So this rajoguna leads to other byproducts, of course, which further leads into bondage. What are they? Kama, krodho, lobha, dambhadyasuya, desire, anger, arrogance, greed, adambatva, hypocrisy, jealousy, asuya, egoistic tendencies. So because of this rajoguna, all the worldly tendencies are produced. So in our daily lives, we can see we are propelled with that outer thirst. I got to get out of there and be there, achieve this, do that. Instead of human being, we become human doing. Do this, do that, do this, do that. It governs all our fluctuating moods. Even if I want to sit quietly, I want to do meditation, Rajoguna coupled with this Vikshepa Shakti, projecting power, it will not allow me to sit quietly. So we can evaluate ourselves, where we are, what is dominant attribute. So these create these agitations of the mind, and in turn, they veil the true nature. This is Rajoguna. Now let us see what Tamoguna has. 113. एषा वृत्तिर्नाम तमोगुणस्य एष आवृत्तिनाम तमोगुणस्य शक्तिर्मया वस्त्वभाव अवभासते अन्यथा सैषा निदानं पुरुषस्य संसृतेः विक्षेपशक्ते pravanasya hetuhu. This veiling power, Rajas has the projecting power, Tamoguna has the veiling power. Esha avritirnama tamogunasya. It veils the truth and makes things appear other than what they are. Shaktirmaya vastva avabhasate anyatha. You know, those who are in the auto industry, they know in the rear view mirror, exterior rear view mirror, we put a warning. Objects may appear closer than they are. Like that, this tamoguna with its power of veiling, Avarana, covers the truth, and Vikshepa Shakti comes in, projects the unreal, makes it seem real. How? Like that rope and the snake example. The snake is never there on the rope. See, tamoguna by itself is not a problem. If it is total darkness, forget about rope, forget about snake. You don't see either of them. There's no problem by itself. Rajoguna, that's why it is in a twilight. When this Rajoguna projects that illusory snake on that rope, then there is fear. I hope you got that point. So the misapprehension of the snake creates the non-apprehension of the rope. So what are these characteristics of this tamoguna? Let us see verse number 115. Abhavana va viparita bhavana. Abhavana va viparita bhavana. Asambhavana विप्रतिपत्तिरस्याः विक्षेपशक्तिक्षपयत्यजस्रम् अज्ञानम् आलस्य. Next one. Let me cover that also. अज्ञानमालस्य जडत्वनिद्रा प्रमादमूढत्वमुखास्तमो गुणाः एतैः प्रयुक्तो न हि वेत्ति किञ्चित् निद्रालुवत् संभवदेव तिष्ठति. What does this do? Abhavana, absence of right judgment, tamoguna. Viparita bhavana, contrary notions, contrary to our sane judgment. Oh, thoughts like, oh, this cannot be. What are these things? I can't understand all this. I need proof. It is called asambhavana. It creates a doubt. Vipratipatti. See, all these gunas, how they play a role. What are the other characteristics? Agnanam alasya jadatva nidra pramada mudhatva mukhastamo gunaha. Ignorance, agnana, dullness, laziness, alasya, jadatva. I don't want to do anything. I just want to lay down. Nidra. I don't know anything. I don't know what this Vedanta is all about. It is all going over my head. Inadvertence, stupor, stupidity, murkhatva, mudhatva. All these are expressions of tamoguna. If that is the case, what about sattva guna? Let's see in shloka verse number 117. Sattvam vishuddham jalavat Sattvam vishuddham jalavattatapi tabhyam militva saranaya kalpate yatratma bimba pratibimbitassan prakashayatyarka ivakhilam jadam. Sattva guna is like Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, he says, is like clear water. Prakashayatyarka ivakilam jadam. Like that sun, Sattva Guna reveals this entire world of matter. Yatratma pratibimbitasam. The reflection of Atma reflects clearly in that medium of Sattva, meaning in our Buddhi. What are the characteristics of Sattva Guna? He illustrates a few of those in verse number 118. Mishrasya sattvasya bhavanti dharmaah tvamanitadya niyamayamadyaah shraddha cha bhaktischa mumukshuta cha. You know these terms now. Daivi cha sampattirasannivrittihi. What is that Mishrita Sattva qualities? Amanitvam, absence of pride. Yama, Niyama, very disciplined fellow. He comes on time to the class. Meaning Shama, Dama, Shraddha, Bhakti, Mumukshutva, that burning desire for liberation. All Daivi Sampatti. Asan Nivrittihi. He follows the Nivritti Marga. Rajas pushes him to Pravritti, but he wants to turn away into the journey, from unreal to the real. And then continuing the same thing, what does Sattva's characteristics? 119. Vishuddha Sattvasya Guna Prasadah Swatmanubhute Parama Prashanti Trupti Praharsha Paramatmanishta Yaya Sadanandarasam Samruchati. The characteristics of this Vishuddha Sattva, this pure Sattva Guna. See, both Rajas and Tamas. Rajas has created the misapprehension, Tamas, which has created the non-apprehension. They both are absent in Vishuddha Sattva. And when the mind and intellect they are purified, Swatma Anubhuti, the comprehension of the self, Parama Prashantihi. When there is no Rajas, there is no agitation. So ultimate peace, Parama Prashanti, Trupti, supreme contentment, Praharshaha, bliss, not Koshananda, but Atmananda. Yaya Sadananda Rasam Samruchyati. He enjoys this Ananda Rasa. So, how do we adapt this in our sadhana? First, we need to know what our dominant attributes are for our introspection. The tamasic fellow cannot straight go to sattva guna, contemplative mind, over a period of time, slowly giving the mind more and more engagement with sattvic activities to overcome that tamas into rajas, gradually, although replacing all those rajasic tendencies with sattvic qualities. Hope the topics we have covered today gives enough material to chew on, to introspect ourselves as to where we are in our journey. And we will stop here for today. And I'll open it up for our interactive session after our concluding prayers. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all see auspiciousness. May none suffer. Om peace, peace, peace. With that, I'll open it up for our interactive session. Please stay back if you